Lebanon, a country of immense cultural richness and diversity, is currently grappling with one of the most severe economic crises in its history. From an inflated currency to rampant unemployment and widespread protests, the situation is dire. But how did Lebanon, once known as the Switzerland of the East, reach this point? The roots of Lebanon's economic crisis are both deep and multifaceted. They can be traced back to the civil war that ended in 1990. Post-war Lebanon adopted an economic model that relied heavily on remittances from abroad and a booming service sector, especially banking and real estate. While this model spurred growth initially, it was unsustainable in the long term. One of the main factors contributing to Lebanon's economic collapse is the country's chronic fiscal deficit. The Lebanese government has been spending more than its revenue for years, leading to a rising public debt. By 2020, Lebanon had one of the highest debt-to-GDP ratios in the world, a ticking time bomb for any economy. Moreover, Lebanon's central bank, Banque du Liban, pursued an unconventional policy known as financial engineering. This policy involved offering high interest rates to commercial banks to attract US dollars, which were used to finance the government's deficit and maintain the Lebanese pounds pegged to the dollar. This system, often likened to a Ponzi scheme, worked as long as new deposits flowed in. However, with declining remittances, reduced foreign investor confidence, and allegations of corruption and mismanagement, the inflow of dollars dwindled, leading to the system's collapse. Compounding these issues is Lebanon's substantial trade deficit. The country relies heavily on imports for goods and basic necessities, while its exports remain limited. This imbalance has put further pressure on foreign currency reserves, contributing to the pound's devaluation. The banking sector, once a pillar of Lebanon's economy, is now part of the problem. With the collapse of the financial engineering scheme, banks imposed informal capital controls, limiting dollar withdrawals and transfers abroad. This has led to a loss of public trust in banking institutions, further destabilizing the economy. Lebanon's political instability and endemic corruption have also contributed significantly to the economic crisis. The country's sectarian power-sharing system often leads to political deadlock, undermining economic reforms. Furthermore, widespread corruption has resulted in a misuse of public funds and a lack of accountability. The devastating explosion at Beirut's port in August 2020 was the final blow to an already crumbling economy. The explosion caused extensive material damage, further straining the government's resources and exacerbating the economic hardship faced by many Lebanese. So, what does the future hold for Lebanon? And how can the country navigate its way out of this crisis? The situation is undeniably complex, and any solution will require a multifaceted approach. One critical step is implementing comprehensive economic reforms. This would likely involve restructuring the public debt, reforming the banking sector, addressing the fiscal and trade deficits, and creating a more sustainable and productive economic model. Political reforms are also essential. These could include measures to improve governance, increase transparency, combat corruption, and possibly rethink the sectarian power-sharing system that often hampers effective decision-making. External financial assistance will likely be crucial in helping Lebanon weather this crisis. However, international donors, including the International Monetary Fund, have made it clear that any bailout is contingent on Lebanon implementing the necessary economic and political reforms. Despite the dire economic conditions, it's important to remember the resilience of the Lebanese people. The ongoing protests reflect a public demand for change and accountability. This popular momentum could be a powerful force for driving the necessary reforms. In conclusion, Lebanon's economic crisis is a tragic case of financial mismanagement, political deadlock, and missed opportunities for reform. However, it's also an opportunity for the country to break away from its unsustainable economic model and its sectarian politics. It's an opportunity to build a more sustainable, inclusive, and accountable system that can provide a better future for all Lebanese. Thank you for watching Middle East Info. We hope this deep dive into Lebanon's economic crisis has given you a better understanding of the challenges the country faces and the potential pathways to recovery. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss our future discussions on Middle Eastern dynamics.